Am I starting us off?
Yeah, like usual.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to MovieDive! We dive into some shit!
Man,
Oh, was that good? Was that a good intro?
I don't know.
Alright, you guys, so we just came out of Batman vs. Superman. Dawn of Justice.
Oh, that's the full title. Oh,
It's the
yeah.
Dawn. Although, in retrospect, didn't see much Dawn.
Oh, well, no, I get it now. Because this movie was basically a Justice League trailer.
It was a Justice League trailer.
It was how long was it? 3-hour Justice League?
Was it 3
trailer?
hours? I don't think it was 3 hours.
Too many
2.5.
Too many hours of Justice League trailer?
So,
okay,
you do it.
Lex Luthor
Yeah.
basically manipulates Batman and Superman into going against each other.
He kind of does.
Following the events of the last Superman movie, where Superman basically messed up Metropolis, and Gotham, which I didn't know, is apparently right across the bay.
They're across the street.
I didn't know that it was just a ferry ride from Metropolis to Gotham, but apparently it is.
The way the movie sets it up is that you can see Gotham from Metropolis.
If you were living in Gotham, you could see Metropolis from your house.
How weird is that?
It's pretty damn weird.
Look at that.
If you got a waterfront property, it's easy to get to work if you happen to work in Metropolis, which I guess Bruce Wayne does. Like, his offices are in Metropolis.
I have no idea. All I know is that
he has offices in Metropolis because they get messed up in the battle that Superman had with.
He has an office.
Oh, it's an office.
I think so.
I thought it was his main office.
No, his main office would be in Gotham.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Obviously.
No, he has an ancillary because you know when you got to do business, but like sometimes you don't want to take the ferry.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he has an office like right across the bay in Metropolis.
It's pretty hilarious.
Anywho,
so
Lex, gets him to fight so that he can go and do something for an hour, like you do. Because these guys who are super powerful and influential are apparently easily manipulated. Like, Superman bowed to terrorism in just the flick of a switch. It was kind of crazy.
Well, Superman doesn't have a whole lot of negotiation training.
No,
not a negotiator
or technical or tactical training either, because he just walks straight into bombs and stuff because he figures he's invincible.
Anyways, so yeah, they Batman and Superman kind of get mad at each other, sort of get manipulated by Lex Luthor, sort of fight, but then apparently Lex Luthor's working on another thing, Doomsday. Doomsday is a villain, classic DC villain.
Doomsday.
Yeah, that's the guy's name.
The creature he creates?
Yeah. So he creates
Doomsday?
His name is literally Doomsday.
Oh, that's horrific.
So he creates Doomsday, and suddenly there's like an impetus to fight, Doomsday instead of each other. And then Wonder Woman comes out of nowhere, kind of sort of set up, but not really. Yeah, they kind
of setting her up. The way they set her up was the way it was. I mean, like I said before, this whole movie is basically a trailer for the Justice League. Because at one point, the only reason why Wonder Woman is there
She's just hanging out.
She's just hanging out, going to parties and stuff, stealing stuff from Batman and then putting it back.
I mean, we're led to believe that she has heard of Superman due to
she came back after a long hiatus.
I gotta say right from the top that I didn't hate this movie because I was really ready to. Maybe my expectations were set low, and this movie kind of stood up. I felt like. What I really liked is all the questions that they were asking each other, in terms of like what is like a superhero and what are their responsibilities.
I will give them that. For example, they were very much like Watchmen in the real world applications of a superhero. If you do have this person, especially Superman, if you have this person who is capable of anything, what aren't they capable of? And obviously it was a good question to ask because all you have to do is kidnap the man's mother and he's all over you. Like, it takes no trouble. And of course he did go to ask Batman for help or whatever, but that wasn't the first words out of his mouth, which is kind of stupid.
Like, so it seemed like they were really being set up to go at each other because the ethical and like moral questions they would ask each other, like, well, Superman can do anything he wants. But can't he just like come over and just make everyone his bitch? Totally. Why is Batman going around slums, beating up poor people?
Yeah,
shouldn't that be an issue?
I like that Superman asked that question, and no one else does.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, no, it's totally fine that he's going to go around beating up on, which is weird to me too, because I don't know what poor people is he beating up on.
Well, the classic argument against Batman, right, is that Batman fights criminals and not the underlying, you know, structural problems that give rise to criminals.
Well, he can't fight the underlying structural problems because if he did that, he wouldn't have any criminals to fight.
Yeah, you could say that,
He
but
has
that,
to.
but that, but
He
that's
needs. He needs it to. He needs to fight the criminals. To relive his trauma of his dead parents.
none of that is in the movie though.
Oh no, no,
The
no.
movie just has the question,
The movie,
which
the
is
movie,
a good question.
the
That's
movie
what I'm
introduces the trauma of his. Oh my God, there's so much in this movie. I don't even know how
There's
to
a
break it
lot
down.
in this movie.
I don't know how to break
I
it
don't think we
down.
need to break this down. I think that really the problem. I don't know. Like, I guess the problem is that the movie asks all these questions, which are very interesting because it really kind of like tries to tie in Superman's role in like the geopolitical process. There's like a questions of like whether he should fight terrorism or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Should he
like,
be an implement of the state?
Yeah.
Should he be governed by the people? So to speak, is the question that they ask.
Yeah.
Or does he have this free agency to go wherever he feels he's needed? Which the truth is, he can only go so many places too. That's the thing. Like, if he's gonna go save this family that's on a roof, can he stop this, terrorist organization over here? He wouldn't know. Question is too, the underlying question is, would he know about the most, quote unquote, the most important stuff that's going on? If he's gonna go, save this one person who's drowning, can he possibly go and save 15 people over here who are, being held in some sort of political whatever? They were asking some very interesting questions about Superman. Not so many interesting questions about Batman.
No, well, yeah, Batman is doing a lot of the question asking in this movie, though but that's really the problem that I was trying to get to is that they ask these questions and the answers never come. They're never really forced to grapple with them because as soon as they're about to, a bunch of supernatural mumbo jumbo happens.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're put together to fight another supernatural villain that represents literally nothing. Just Lex Luthor, played hilariously by Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, God.
He was really,
annoying.
He was super annoying, but I think, in terms of that, I don't know if you can cast anyone better because
I don't know what idea I had of Lex Luthor, but I'm getting kind of tired of the psycho villain. The villain who's just like he was like the Riddler, but without any riddles. He's just spouting whatever.
I gotta say, I think they were honestly going for that dude, Martin Shkreli, the pharma bro, the guy that...
Oh, yeah.
I think they were really trying to channel this kind of like repulsive,
I think I would have...
privileged, rich,
honestly,
like white dude who just does shit just to fuck with people.
I think I would have appreciated more of a bro performance than this psycho performance. Like, he was playing more...
He was playing
my
more
father
psycho.
Beat me into a insanity type thing.
He does say that. That's true.
Which he did say.
He literally said that.
Everybody in this movie has some sort of parental father issue, except for Wonder Woman, who just came out of the Amazon pristine without any kind of baggage, apparently.
She was just not given
We
enough
won't figure
time.
that out until her
I'm
own
sure
movie.
her movie is coming, and
She'll
gonna
have all
get
kinds of
that
parental
entire
issues
jerk
when
around.
her movie comes.
Speaking of, they cast Robin Wright in that movie. I'm a huge fan of Robin Wright.
Who's that?
Motherfucker, you don't know Robin Wright? Oh my god.
Enlighten me, please.
You will be embarrassed when people hear this.
Who is he?
Robin Wright. She played, fucking Underwood. What's her name?
Oh, yeah, Robin Wright. Sorry, I was thinking of a man when you said it. I don't know why.
Anyways.
I thought you
off topic.
I thought you meant a man.
Not a man.
By the way, I meant to mention the other day,
Beautiful
I didn't take a
woman.
picture, but I saw a mannequin in a white dress that reminded me very much of Claire.
So, yeah. Lots of movie in there. Man, the palette, though, just... If you thought, like, teal and orange was kind of overdone...
Gray and gray.
Try
really,
I was gonna
really,
say, like, dark orange and black.
It was just
the darkest movie.
Gray on black. The color was so dark that at some points I couldn't really... The shapes weren't distinct. It was so washed out. It was kind of insane.
We should mention that we did see it in 3D.
Which probably didn't help.
Which did not help, but... Actually, they did some interesting 3D things right in the beginning, where they were doing, like, the shots of, the Wayne family dying, and they had, like, some really nice framework. This is a great time to bring it up, actually, with with the imagery and the framing. Zack Snyder really knows shot composition.
He does. He does know how to make
every single shot is fucking gorgeous,
Yeah.
and it just hits you like
a painting.
perfectly. It's like watching a comic book. If like every single comic book was drawn by Frank Miller,
Yeah.
this is what this movie was like. And that's probably what really elevated it for me, because he
will make it pretty.
He will make it like, I mean, you could say that it was very, like, it was super convoluted, super contrived, very plotting, but man, it's just like, I mean,
nice
at least you can fucking look at every single, like, every still.
Yes, every shot, and I mean the way that they did that bit with Bruce's mom. And her necklace getting caught on the man's gun, and then the gun going off and
the pearls
breaking
flying.
That was exquisite. I will give him that. He will make, like, there's this one shot towards the end of the movie, you know, the lowest point of the film, where Wonder Woman and Batman are standing over Lois Lane and Superman. And that shot and the way that Lois Lane and Superman are lit, it looked like a tableau. It looked like a Renaissance painting.
Literally perfect.
It was beautiful. But as I've said before, he can make the pieces themselves look pretty. But tying them together, once again, and it's clear in this movie, this man it doesn't happen.
Oh, you had a great line there. You said he could make all the separate pieces pretty, and you should have said, but they can't make them fit.
Okay.
Come on, that would have been an epic line. That would have been a line that they would have put in that movie, because that's how every single
line of dialogue in that movie
is some kind of like
some sort of
poetic metaphor, allegorical.
Not how actual people talk.
Not how people talk at all.
Every line, pretty much every line.
You know, but in the end, though, I can't bring myself to like hate on it. I don't know why. It's just. Like, because, I mean, going into this movie, I couldn't stay away. You know, Twitter is blowing up. Facebook is blowing up. Rotten Tomatoes has it at like 35% as we're reviewing it, or some shit like that, right? I would give this like a solid, like, average rating. I thought it was better. I thought it was better than a lot of Marvel movies. I thought it was better than the original Man of Steel. I thought it was better than Age of Ultron, the Avengers movie. This was a better movie than those. This is a great action superhero movie.
I will give them this. I don't think that it deserves 33. Even though it did... A lot of the Marvel movies, I will say this, are better paced and probably better plotted. Because this movie, it would jump from one thing to the other, and like scene piece to scene piece, without any kind of line to pull you through from point to point. It was just one scene after the other without any real line to pull you through. But I will give it this. It was more beautiful than Marvel movies. The shots themselves were more gorgeous than anything in a lot of the, you know, Avengers movies, because they were composed like an artist would, you know, compose them. But a movie is not a painting. A movie is, you know, a story where beats are supposed to follow each other and they're supposed to build to a point. This movie was, here's a scene, and here's a scene, and here's a scene, and here's a scene. Although I will give it this, when Wonder Woman comes in to save the day, her music cue was right on point.
Dude, their music, the whole movie's music cues was on point. That's what it's just like when every single piece of this movie that I can think of, like, it works.
Not every music cue worked for me, because they had this one music cue, for example, in the scene where Lex Luthor is talking to the senator, and he's talking about how the painting should be turned upside down. They cut to the painting, and this weird maudlin kind of ding kind of music comes out of nowhere, and then immediately they break from that to Bruce Wayne walking in front of his derelict, you know, mansion that got burned out whenever that happened. They cut that music and then go to this other music immediately, and it was like there was no flow from that bit to the next, and it was the movie and the sound was pretty much like that the whole way through.
I think that when we're talking about like movie structure, I think that I am just really over the way that these superhero movies are built right now. In terms of like the Marvel like 3-act formula that you see in every single Marvel movie. This formula works. It's a great formula. They really figured it out, and you can tell because every movie sells, and every movie is successful. People love them. right? And this movie is just not built like the Marvel formula. I am so fucking annoyed with that formula. And does this movie do it better? I don't think it does, but man, at least it's like at least they're trying. Like they were trying something else here. Like they were like jumping back and forth. There were like dream sequences that I
Oh my
wasn't really
god.
sure about.
The
But
dream sequences, they had multiple really, really bizarre dream sequences. Although
that came out of nowhere.
I did like the Mad Max Batman dream sequence
that
where
was
he's
good.
fighting the Superman soldiers. Very interesting concept. Did they execute it well? I'm not so sure.
Yeah. Well, again, by itself, as like a 3 minute action sequence, again, totally works. Did it
Yeah.
work in the movie? Probably not. Actually, it
Also,
was sort of like a callback to, I don't know if you've ever seen Superman Red Sun.
no.
It's offshoot. It's like a comic book offshoot. I'm gonna get like pretty nerdy here.
Go right ahead.
Comic book offshoot where Superman, instead of landing in Kansas, he lands in
Oh yeah,
Siberia
the one where he
and
ends up
becomes
as
a communist. So the
as a communist.
yeah, so the Batman in that dream sequence was straight out of like that, where he was like wearing like a coat, and there's like a Superman's personal armies there and stuff. But yeah, again, like yeah, great sequence, looks beautiful. Again, just kind of comes out of nowhere in the movie. Just
and also
like
too had no bearing on the rest of the film because even though it did kind of heighten the idea that Batman is getting more paranoid about Superman's abilities, the idea that he would have an army doesn't really have any bearing in the film.
no,
Because I mean, the fear isn't that he would go out and influence other people. The fear is that he would be able to, in himself, be a weapon that is unstoppable. And also, there's that bit in that same dream sequence where like somebody appears to like come back from the future. I don't know. He appeared out of nowhere and he was like, I came too soon or too early. And he says Lois Lane is the key. Oh wait, is that going to have bearing? Do you think in a later movie?
Well, yeah.
Is that how they're going to bring Superman back?
Yeah. So in one of the sequences, again, they have like another dream sequence where Superman kills everyone, and I think all of those serve kind of like to characterize Batman and his growing paranoia. But this asshole comes out of nowhere, right? Where suddenly he imagines a warp portal and the dude comes out of it. And I'll explain to you right now that out of all the things that I know about the DC universe, that's totally Flash. Because according to DC canon, Flash can run so fast that he can travel through time. So I think that that's what happened. But again, yeah, like that never gets resolved. So it serves to fuel Batman's resolve into fighting Superman in like the one of the many sequences that brings Batman to just hate Superman like irrationally. But again, they fight it out in like a pretty epic fight sequence, and then again we never hear from it after that. Yeah, again,
I probably should have been a little bit more whatever about that dream sequence because I think that dream sequence, although it seems really misplaced at the time, is probably going to come to light in about 5 years in the next like in the Flash movie or the Justice League movie after they do the rest of these movies. Actually, probably will be more than 5 years. I'll probably be bringing our kids to these movies when this Justice League movie finally comes out. If Ben Affleck isn't too geriatric. But okay, so
I really hope Ben Affleck comes back. I gotta say, Ben Affleck was a great casting choice.
I was really nervous. That's an understatement. I was really kind of I was one of the people who's like, Ben Affleck is Batman. Ew. How could you think that that's a good idea? Well, you know what? He did a damn fine job, and he was swole as hell.
I was one of the people that actually did not hate him.
You were, and I was really kind of skeptical, but he did a really good job. He did a really good job.
He delivered. He brought the physicality, but also brought like that kind of like smugness, but also brought that like. The most recent Ben Affleck performance where he's just kind of like understated, but still kind of like really sure of himself. I think kind of brings that to, the Bruce Wayne role, like where he's just kind of like, yeah, I know what the fuck I'm doing, but I just gotta play cool or play grim one time, which apparently is all the time.
All the time.
Play grim.
Oh man, there's not a moment in this movie where Batman is not haunted by the death of his parents.
Yeah.
Like the entire, and they kind of set you up for that by beginning with his backstory in the beginning of the movie, and Zack Snyder is not going to take he's pretty much assuming that you know what happened because they kind of do the montage version of here's how Batman's parents died. You know the story. Here you go. and they kind of sell it to you almost like he's reliving the trauma or like it's the dream of the trauma, and that trauma haunts him the entire movie. Oh, another point. I just wanted to mention how this was a trailer for the eventual Justice League movie that's going to come out in 2030 or whenever it's going to come out.
Probably sooner than that.
2030.
I'm sure they already have.
No, because they have to have what's her name? They have to have Wonder Woman's movie, which is coming out next year.
Yep.
And so you know,
Aquaman is already cast.
Aquaman is cast because you already saw what's his name? Is it Momoa?
Yeah, Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa
Good call.
as Aquaman.
Yep.
So here we are. What's this? 2016 for the Batman vs Superman. 2017 for Wonder Woman. 2018 for Aquaman. 2019 for The Flash.
It's
2020
it's never going to end.
For Cyberman. And here's how we know. Here's how we know.
Shit, and we're gonna have
20 children.
And I'm gonna have like a
grandchildren.
holographic fucking projection of Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah,
like,
because he would have already died
yeah.
from his third divorce. Anyway, that's nasty. I shouldn't have said that.
What are you talking about?
But anyway, so the reason why you know that they're going to have all these movies is because the movie takes a break for a second, so that Wonder Woman can sit and look at all these classified documents that Lex Luthor has on all these metahumans, and she sits and she watches like YouTube videos of and I'm saying YouTube videos because it's kind of like she just clicks on little clips of these security footages of Aquaman, the Flash, and Cyberman, who I didn't even know who Cyberman was.
Please.
Oh, Cyborg. My bad. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend. Cyborg. That's how ignorant I am.
Yeah. But actually, you know what? Cyborg has only come alive really recently because he's definitely not like the classic Pantheon. He
can't be because that's how I don't know who he is.
He's a Teen Titan.
Teen Titans.
Yeah, so he's in that level of Robin and Nightwing and Batgirl and
I know who he is.
So he's like he's like the he's a cyborg.
I know who he is. I remember him. Yeah. Wait, is he black in the movie?
I think he's black. Yep, black.
You can't see, but I'm cheering right now. Anywho, so she sits down and she watches these basically sitting up watching these little YouTube videos of just the future movies that they're gonna come out with. What it is, yeah. DC is like, hey guys, if you like this, just you wait because we got all of these movies lined up to fight Marvel with. Even Cyborg.
So I guess I'm still conflicted. I have to mention also that Zack Snyder still does the best job of fight choreography for superheroes that you will find nowhere else. And I will stand by this.
And I think you're right. Here's what I can't stand, and other people have mentioned it, but here's what I can't stand about these Marvel movies and the lack of actual direction in these movies. They will take the camera and they will just kind of rotate it around the people.
Yeah.
And there's they're not trying to make you actually sit and look at a construction in a shot or anything. All they do is do this epic sweep around the people. Or, maybe you watch one person fly across the room fly across the screen from one side to the other side of the screen. That'll be the entirety of the action. Here, Zack Snyder is actually treating you to depth. Somebody will be in the foreground, they'll get punched into the background. There's movement in all dimensions of the screen, and he will actually set the camera in one location and actually go, look at this, look at the construction of this shot. This is where I want your eyes to be, rather than having the camera circle around them or, have, just movement from left to right or right to left. He will go, will go from foreground to background. He will go from the midground to the side of the screen. He'll move it all around because he actually knows how to compose a shot.
He will make the punches feel like so this movie is just as CG as the Marvel movies. But when a motherfucker gets hit in the face,
you believe it.
You believe that he gets fucking hit. You believe that Superman just hit this dude and his face just went through the wall. You feel all that shit. And I don't think anyone else can do it as well as Zack Snyder. So this is the huge conundrum really, because Snyder can't put the movie together. He can just do these scenes. So the camera, when there's a fight and Superman gets punched and the camera flies with him, and you feel how hard he gets hit. That's what he can do. But again, can't put the whole movie together. If they put another person to direct these movies, we're probably going to get another formulaic, by the numbers, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3,
Not
resolution
necessarily.
type movie without the combat. And I don't know. I really don't know if someone can do a better job than Snyder or not. I don't. It's really, I don't see anyone else doing superhero action movies and actually filming the action like Zack Snyder does.
Christopher Nolan did it. You can have other directors who are competent directors who can tie a story together and shoot a scene that you would believe.
But Christopher Nolan can't direct Dragon Ball Z, and man, Zack Snyder really directs this movie like a Dragon Ball Z movie, and it's fucking dope. Like, it's epic as shit. I don't know. I've wanted to see Batman and Superman like fight it out and make it look awesome, and Zack Snyder did exactly what I wanted him to. In that 10-minute fight scene, it was wonderful. It was like I was just sitting there. I was like, man, this is dope. I don't know. Like, as an anime fan, like it's just like you're watching like the kind of shit that you want to watch in like a cartoon. This is how you film a fucking cartoon. I don't know. No one else seems to wrap their heads around. As much as people were making a fuss about like Joss Whedon and the Avengers, there isn't a single shot in the Avengers that felt as good as.
Well, that's the thing. Joss Whedon is better at story and people and bringing those people.
Yeah.
Fleshing out the people.
The characters. The characters do work better.
They feel like people.
Yeah.
They feel like they actually exist in the world and came together, and then you get to see how the different groups and how they interact. And it's really, it's painful because that doesn't really happen here. As pretty as it looks, these people do not really feel like real people.
They are not people. They are fucking monoliths of ideals and power and whatever it is that you see in these heroes, but they're not fucking people. Like, every time, Ben Affleck is on frame, he's just like, I am Batman, and the whole of Gotham and non-violent violence is behind me, and I must prove to you that I am a better ideology behind which to rally or whatever. And it's like every single shot is like this in this
Superman's movie, like, I really feel really uncomfortable with this whole Jesus thing. I'm not sure I want to do it.
Am I Jesus? Am I not Jesus? I have to wrestle with this on every single shot.
Yeah, I don't really feel comfortable being Jesus. But I guess, I keep having sunsets behind me, so what are you gonna do? I don't know. I keep flying around in this really gleaming looking outfit. If people want to call me Jesus, what am I gonna do? Can't stop them.
Well, I honestly don't think. I think I've said everything I wanted to say about this movie.
Probably me too.
Would you recommend it?
I feel like you could. I would get more out of it. Oh, I forgot to mention, Neil deGrasse Tyson made a cameo in this movie.
True.
A lot of people made a cameo in this movie. Anderson Cooper.
Anderson Cooper's in every.
Well, yeah.
Action movie.
What's her name? Who always reports on the really gruesome news?
I don't remember. I don't know all the CNN
she's like
anchors. But all your favorite CNN
all your favorite CNN anchors make a cameo in this movie. But Neil deGrasse Tyson makes a cameo, and I actually squealed.
Yeah,
it was the best.
That was pretty funny.
He's so perfect because he makes you actually believe that he's talking about Superman. I believed him more.
You know what? He was talking about Superman because you know that this is the theory that he has about this is when he reads Superman books, which he absolutely does. These are the questions he's asking, so yeah, that's probably the most believable part of it.
He made it believable that these characters actually exist in the world. He was their anchor into the world. God love you, Neil deGrasse Tyson, forever.
Right. So can we put your recommendation down to a exasperated sigh and the Neil deGrasse Tyson mention?
I would recommend this movie as a series of YouTube clips. If I could watch this movie, I could watch the clip of Neil deGrasse Tyson's cameo. I could watch the clip of the big fight scenes. I could watch the clip of, in a sort of meta way of the clip of Wonder Woman watching clips of fellow superheroes, that they're going to get together later with in a club. I don't believe that I can recommend that people see this movie. I would say see it if you want to, but as a whole, it didn't work for me. As pieces, it works, and I could watch those maybe later on YouTube.
I would recommend it, with the asterisk. The asterisk is that if you legitimately like Marvel movies, first of all, fuck you, and second of all, you're wrong, and third of all, you probably won't like this one. But if you want to see like a really epic, drawn out, theatrical, I don't even know how to really put it. I mean, it's super heavy.
That's another thing too. I think people
It's
didn't
a
like it
very
because it's
heavy
dark.
movie. It's just it. I think that this movie is just like not what people expect
It's
from a
not a
superhero
Marvel
movie,
movie.
and I think it really works on that level. And I don't know why, but I can't dislike it somehow. I don't know because I've been burned by Zack Snyder, and I was really expecting to be burned when I came into this theater, and I just wasn't. And so
No,
that's really my
I don't
takeaway.
feel burned. It wasn't. It certainly was not Sucker Punch.
It was not. It was much better.
It was an actual movie and not a long music video.
Yeah.
So it actually holds together as a movie. I just don't know if I can say that other people should go see it, but it is definitely a good counterpoint to the Marvel universe. As wooden as the characters are,
Yeah.
it's still beautiful. It was kind of pretty to look at in places.
There you go.